Hello and welcome to the Pirates Fan Forum here on DK Pittsburgh Sports Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gary Morgan. With me, as always, my good friend, Jim Stam.
What's going on? Gary, one thing about the Pirates is they may not be good. They may disappoint us a lot. But, boy, they're never boring, are they? And boring can mean a lot of different things, but they are never that.
Yeah, they're never boring. Like reading Revelations isn't boring, it's not good stuff. You're not necessarily looking forward to it, but okay.
I should have looked up some biblical quotes for this because we could have used them.
I got a good quote. It's from Vladimir Lenin, actually. There's some decades where nothing happens, and then some days where decades happen. That's what's going on with the Pirates right now, man. Everything is just falling apart, and we're going to talk about a lot of it tonight. I don't know if I want to classify this as a classic bitch session. I don't think it's going to be. I think I want it to be constructive, but I want to talk through as many of these dumb little things as we can think of. Like, why do they keep going so wrong with PR? What is wrong with them? Let's just talk through it a little bit. We also have a great series coming up this weekend where two cellar dwellers are going to try to climb out of the cellar. But before we get to that, Jim, personal note time. Our lives are so different. And I think people need to understand you're rushing in the door from practice, right? Like with Ben.
Cold, rainy practice on pavement for baseball. Yes.
You've got all this going on, and like you're refinishing your attic, and like you're very focused on your young family and everything, right? I've got a kid that's been married for like 4 years already, 5 years, I think, actually. And he's flying to Ireland tonight of his own will and desire and funding. like just for fun. Like, what?
And we are like the same age.
It's crazy.
That's what's weird about it. Like,
it's crazy.
You literally couldn't, and you'll text me or do something, and like it's hours before I get back to you because A, I'm bad with my phone, and B, I've got all this stuff going on, and I'm jealous of you in a way, but hey, I try to enjoy it the best I can.
So let's see. Jim Rosati put some stats up that I thought were interesting about this series. Just the Pirates are in position players ranked 30th in WAR, and the Reds are 29th. And the pitching side, I think it is 4th and 5th. So these teams, and they're both 5 and 8. And they both find themselves in the basement in the NL Central.
They've earned it.
I don't think either of these teams felt like they were going to be in the basement in the NL Central. Do you?
No. I mean, you look at some things. The Pirates and the Reds are dead last in slugging in the National League. Pirates are worse, 301. And only the Reds are better in the NL. Pirates are 29th overall, by the way, 301 slugging percentage.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a Pirates fan that wouldn't switch lineups right now.
Well, that is the funny part, right? Like, to see the Reds off to that kind of start offensively, I guess you could. Oh, by the way, Pirates dead last in Major League Baseball, hitting 198. The Reds are second to last in the NL at 206. The Pirates aren't even hitting the Mendoza line right now as a team.
Yeah, right.
So at least if you were a Reds fan, you would say, well, you know what? I think we'll get that going a little. The ballpark suits it. They have.
There we are, but we're playing Adam Frazier. I think 10 out of 11 games or 11 out of 12
11,
or something.
11 of 12 he has played in. Yes.
I think he's like 6th on the team for at bats.
Yeah.
He was like 0 for 5 last night. There's a lot of guys on this team that just aren't hitting. I can honestly tell you, one of the games they won, Adam Frazier saved it for them defensively. I know that's not going to go like, oh, +1 WAR. I'm just telling you, I know just from watching the game, one game Adam Frazier saved for them defensively. Now, I can't sit here and tell you that a better second baseman wouldn't have clubbed 2 home runs and not had to save it. I'm just telling you, defensively, he saved that game. I could tell you Pham did last night or the other night.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've got a stat. I'll drop it before we. Well, I'll drop it before we even go to break because I want to get everyone's reaction to this. But at least guys like Frazier and Pham, even though they're not hitting, they are still like situational pros, if you will, in the sense that like Frazier can move a guy over from second to third when he needs to. It'll be a terrible rollover ground out to second, but he'll do that. Tommy Pham can get a ball lifted to the outfield to get a sac fly or a game-winning hit. They're not doing much else, but at least those dudes do that, and they've both played pretty good defense. A little bit surprising for me. So you want me to just hit you? You want me to hit
go
you?
Ahead. Hit me with your stat. It's burning a hole in your pocket. I can tell.
It is, because it's incredibly awful. It's so incredibly awful. Gary, there are 5 guys on the Pirates that have combined for 130 at bats this year already, which is about a quarter of a season of at bats if you think about it for one player. Like if you were talking about one player. The 5 guys are Adam Frazier, Jack Sawinski, Tommy Pham, Alexander Canario, and Jared Triolo, who is currently on the IL. In those 130 at-bats, collectively, they have no home runs and 2 extra base hits that were doubles. 130 at-bats, 5 guys. They can't even get the ball out of the infield, Gary. That's not even Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
That's totally non-competitive guys getting a lot of at-bats and playing.
Yeah, I mean, collectively horrific. I get it. I mean, like Canario, I'm not seeing it, but he's only got like 14 at-bats or something like that. I would think you got to give him a little bit more time than that. Adam Frazier, though, we know what Adam Frazier is, and like I watched him all spring, barely able to get a ball into the outfield. You know, like that's what he is now. Ground ball through the hole, ground ball in the right direction, bunt, slap hit, maybe pop one up to the outfield deep enough to get a run home if he has to. That's what he is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say about Jack. I actually think, he's had 2 home runs taken from him, man. One by wind, one by glove, and I think if he has those 2 home runs, everything looks a lot better. It's like
I thought about that when I did that stat. I'm like, Jack probably got screwed. Of course, he's not helping himself by striking out over 50% of the time.
No. But they're messing with him again. Here's Jack, and I think if I wanted to diagnose Jack, which I probably shouldn't, but if I want to try to diagnose Jack is too teachable. He's a sponge, and he wants to be a good student, and he wants to listen, and he wants to do the right things. And they tell him, "Hey, Jack, come on, man, get a little more aggressive. Get that swing off. We don't want you watching strike 3 like that." And then he gets a little more aggressive, and he swings over top of those sliders. And then they go, "Hey, Jack, watch that slider, man. They're hitting you with that slider. You got to be careful not to pull the trigger on that. You can't get to it. You got to you got to spit on that." And then he's afraid to swing at anything.
And then they bat him leadoff, where he's supposed to see a lot of pitches and try to work counts.
Exactly.
And also his batting stance. I just posted the other day, head to toe, he's changed it.
Yeah.
He's changed his batting stance. Everything from hands, bat position, legs are now more closed. I mean, God bless him. He's trying, but boy, that's a lot of stuff going on. So,
yeah, we'll see what happens. It's break time, though. Let's take a quick one. Let's come back. We'll complain about some off the field stuff, and then we'll.
Oh, really? I didn't notice anything happened.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
All right, welcome back to the Pirates Fan Forum here on DK Pittsburgh Sports Podcast Network. All right, we were supposed to preview the Reds series, and then we just started complaining about players. We'll probably get back into complaining about players later. Point is, that series is going to be fun, and one of those teams is going to come out in sole possession of the basement, I believe, in the NL Central by the end of the weekend, and that should be fun, and let's hope it's not the Pirates.
Well, at least, hey, the Pirates took 2 or 3 from the Cardinals. We've talked about at least taking care of business in your division. If they can somehow get 2 out of 3 in Cincy, won't be easy. Pitching's going to have to be good. But getting the 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals felt like just a relief more than anything. So we'll see.
I talked a little bit about Brickgate already on Locked On, but I like this show because we can talk a lot longer and deeper about it. And I'm not just bouncing ideas off myself this time. I'm just taken aback by their inability to communicate about anything. I think I named the show Always Unprepared. I just think no matter what they do, this team is 100% unprepared for any reaction from the fans, any recourse for what they would do if there was a reaction from the fans, any idea of who shoulda, coulda, woulda done something different. They just are completely unprepared. It's so reflective of what happens on the baseball side of things that it really, really tells you where the problem is with this baseball team.
It's funny because they're just a sick organization. And what I mean by that is there's a dysfunctionalness or dysfunctionality, whatever the word is, I think just permeates everything. And you see that with problematic organizations. We've probably all worked for one.
Yeah.
And no matter what is done, it's always done usually in the worst possible way with the least amount of, thought that can go into it. And even when they have a 1 in 2 chance of getting it right, they somehow always pick the wrong way to do it. And I guess like when I look at this situation specifically, Gary, with these bricks, there's just really only one outcome, one scenario you wouldn't want to see. And somehow that's the scenario that we ended up seeing, which is everybody understands with these things that there were it's not an easy process for them to sort out.
Maybe I should lay out the facts of what actually happened with these bricks first.
Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll get back to it.
There's been a lot that came out since about really what happened, and I've come to realize there's some young fans that don't even understand what the bricks are about in the first place. And like, I understand we have an older audience, but there are still some young people that maybe it's not as big a deal to them. Okay, but when PNC was being built, there was some bricks they were selling, and you could pay them $100, $75. It's probably equivalent of like 200, 250 now, to be honest. But you could have them dedicated. You could write whatever the hell you want on them. Anything. Like I had one for my grandparents. And, you know, it means something to me too. So I'm vested in it. And there was thousands of them. They're all over the place, near the statues, you know. So they're redoing the sidewalk and they rip it up. And the season ticket holders, people that had bricks, they're asking, where are my bricks? Because when they redid it, they just basically covered it up with regular cement. And now the bricks are gone. There's no display for the bricks. They're just not there. So people are asking, hey, where are they? Come to find out, they're in a landfill. Okay, so
the one which is the one scenario you can't have happen is that people are updated with the situation with a picture of them sitting in a garbage dump to be recycled.
Right. So like, let's say, benefit of the doubt, there's no way to get those bricks up and redo the sidewalk without breaking them. Let's just say benefit of the doubt, no way around it. Break them up, throw them somewhere where no one from Pittsburgh is ever going to see it. Ship them down to Virginia. You know, take them down to the zoo and dump them in the monkey cage. Like, anything. I don't care what you do, but like, don't let people from Pittsburgh see them. Like, that's one. Two, I'm reading this report from Noah Hiles and their statements and everything, and they're saying they've done this 2 or 3 times now. So I've got questions. All right. First, I'm in Pittsburgh fairly often, Jim. So are you, right? Okay. This year, when they were doing all those renovations of the sidewalks around PNC Park, would you say you noticed
that they were doing renovations?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There wasn't like Sax Boy Billy running around like filming himself, like jumping around like a jackass in front of the construction and everything. And wasn't there like people giving updates on the things they were trying to clean up and everything? And yeah.
No, it was not a secret that this was happening in some fashion.
So these 2 or 3 other times that they did this, I don't remember. I don't ever remember it. And I find it really hard to believe that they mapped out all those bricks and put them right back where they were, because I know mine never moved. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, that's interesting because everybody knows where their bricks are.
Right. So I don't believe them. I don't believe them. And I don't want to just call them a liar. And it was reported in the PG. It's not like I don't think Noah checked. It's just I don't believe them. I don't remember that ever happening. Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't remember like renovations around the stadium, the park. You do tend to remember just that some things are going on. You're right. I don't remember that ever being. It could have happened. I don't remember.
You're right where I am, trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and that okay, they replaced them in the past. This time they're basically saying we don't want to have to replace them again, so let's do something different. I'm giving them 100% benefit of the doubt here, right?
which they probably don't deserve, but we'll try.
No, they don't deserve it at all. But like, I have to do it just because.
Well, we try to be reasonable.
When I'm trying to understand how stupid happens, to me, I try as hard as I can to think like somebody's stupid. Because you notice one thing I haven't mentioned yet is we should talk to the fans, because those bricks aren't going to be there on the home opener. We should tell them we got a plan, right?
You would think. The communication is really at the crux of this. It's if they'd have just communicated with people and let them know what was going on and what the plans were, then you don't get this visceral reaction to people seeing those bricks that they purchased, some with like dear deceased family members on them, in a trash pile. Like if you have just like even if that would happen and you would see them there, had you just communicated with them along the way, you wouldn't get the kind of reaction that you got. So it comes down to the absolute refusal to let people know what's going on. They just won't do it.
Dave White's asking here, the Pirates don't own PNC Park. Did the city have anything to do with this? No, this is a ballpark renovation. So I know that. But like, let's just pretend that they have replaced these bricks perfectly in the past. And I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. I really don't.
No, I find it very hard to believe that they had all the information, size of bricks, and placement, and have done this. This will be the third time.
Yeah, second or third. It said 2 or 3 in the piece, and I'm like, When I saw that, I'm sorry. I've gone down there to eat, just to, in the winter. Like I would have noticed. I really would have. I'm down there enough. So I don't know. Like, well, whatever.
And then they talked about there was no way to contact the people that own the bricks. Other ballpark, other organizations have done this and handled it so much better.
I'm sure there's some people that bought them that are no longer with us. I'm sure of that. So I can understand, like, you couldn't reach some of them or whatever. And it ain't your job necessarily to track down descendants. This isn't like they're gold bricks or something that you're giving back to us. But you sold them as forever part of the ballpark. And that's the thing. You broke the trust, right? And then to not have a real idea, like, I don't want to hear, like, in theory, we're going to do something super cool. I want to hear, like, this is our freaking plan. Right. That's why it's not done for this reason. Like, no, that's it.
You better have answers. And if you're saying you have them, but you just haven't shared them, then I don't know that you have answers and plans. I think there's making it up as you go along, and then revisionist history about why you couldn't do it in the first place.
It calls back on so many other things like this, Jim, like the tribute to the Negro Leagues that they took away and didn't say anything. It was actually a completely fine thing they were doing with it, like moving it over to the Heinz History Center where they could do more and better with it. Well,
right.
Why don't you tell us? Like, here's what they do. They wait until a murmur turns into a yell, and then turns into a scream, and then turns into a news story, and then turns into 5 news stories, and then everyone's doing it on a podcast and it's a blog, and all the reporters are actually getting into it and digging in to find the actual facts instead of just bitching like the rest of us. And then maybe they say something. And when they do, God damn it, if there's an answer in it.
Gary, they take getting out in front of things and getting ahead of things and take it completely to the reverses. They get as far behind it as they possibly can and then figure it out later when all hell broke loose. I did love this comment from, I think it was Ian Murin, maybe. He said 2 or 3 times, like they wouldn't remember how many times they removed and replaced 10,000 bricks. Gary, how many beers did you have last night? 3 or 6? I had 3 or 6.
Well, listen, if I get to 6, I legit won't know. So
well, you do like strong IPAs.
I do like. I will say I do. I'm not drinking that toilet water you guys drink.
But that's a great point. Like what is it? Even that is such a dog crap answer.
Again, like we talk about, like taking down the Clemente thing on the wall and replacing it with an ad. There's completely explainable, reasonable answers for that. And I guess the problem with things like that, Jim, they don't see that it could be.
Right.
They don't see.
or they don't care. I don't know which one it is.
I think they do care, Jim, if only because why would you bother putting out statements afterwards if you don't? They care. They just don't pay any freaking attention. They don't think there's going to be a problem. And we are at a point now, fans, I'll speak for fans if you want, or just me, I don't care. But fans, we're to the point where like you're checking on your teenage son to make sure he doesn't have weed in his room. You're going to find something. If you go in there with your eyes peeled,
and you're not going to believe him no matter what after that, after 10th time, right?
Exactly. You are going to find something. You're going to find a little black spot and claim it's tar, or, like you're going to find something in that room. There's going to be an old glass of tea that you claim is bong water. Something in that room is going to make you think, because the radar's going off already before you even get in that room. Well, that's how we are with the Pirates right now. We're looking for mistakes.
Yeah.
And like, even if they do something dumb that like really you should just blow off, nobody wants to blow it off anymore.
No, it's a chance to really kind of pile on at that point. A
door flies off of a Boeing, and next thing you know, everyone cares about the fact that the light doesn't work in that seat. There's something wrong with Boeing.
Yes, and let me say one thing about those two things we've talked about so far, which is the Clemente issue and then the bricks. And do I think the Clemente thing got a little carried away? Yes, I think the Clemente family did not appreciate it, and I will defer to them on that because that's very personal for them. But here's where I think this brick thing went into uncharted territory with the Pirates, and maybe why it sticks out to me a little more. Gary, this actually like hurt people.
Yeah, me too. Me included.
Yeah, like this. Look, bad baseball for decades, that hurts, right? But it is sports, and that's one thing. But this actually hurt people personally with like their own feelings, their family, their loved ones. That's an awful spot to get into as an organization, and they did that. Like that to me is the clear distinction between these two situations.
Well, this is part of what it creates. Dave White, I'm now concerned about my leaf at the Maz statue. Like what are they not going to care about next? And the funny thing is, Jim, when there was a renovation going on of the Clemente Bridge, which the Pirates have nothing to do with, they talked about it for a year leading up to it. They explained on every telecast why there was like tarps over top of it. They talked about how great it was going to look when it was done. They talked about the lighting scheme.
And they do have Clemente tributes all over the place.
Oh, you can't turn 360 in that ballpark without seeing it. My point is they don't even own and operate the Clemente Bridge, and they cared and talked about it and spent over a year making sure we knew everything that was going on step by step, including replacing the railing and why the locks were being taken off of. I mean, they don't have nothing to do with that, and they can't be bothered to tell people that are asking, where are my bricks? And it's so dumb.
They're asking while the bricks are literally on a flatbed somewhere in a truck getting moved there, and they still didn't answer it correctly.
And who knows what they're going to do with it? Like, if they haven't said whether it's going to be inside or outside.
Right.
Well, I got to say again, some of the people that paid for those things were not sold that they were going to have to buy a ticket to see them. They will not think of things like that. Some fans will. Some won't be upset by it. They will have absolutely no reaction. They will not have anything prepared. That's the moral of the story. They don't think of anything that might happen before they just do it.
No, and look, this was already happening a little bit when we showed up for opening day, right? You could feel the weirdness in PNC that day. It was just
we haven't had a show since then. That's right.
I know. That's why I'm bringing it up, is because some of this stuff came out after opening day, and it was already strange enough there. So what you're doing is like whatever, the old whatever breaks the camel's back, it was already fractured the opening day, and then they just come in and drop a wrecking ball on top of it. So you were there, you felt it too. It was a strange day at the park. So
that's a good comment there, Rob. I agree. He's always been on the same wavelength as Jim and Gary. Complain all you want, but when they're winning, you'll be back. I think the Bucko bricks and fan frustration is dangerous territory. I have to agree. This is different. It feels different. Because I think it's one thing to break people's competitive hearts.
Mm-hmm. This is exactly where I was trying to go earlier.
Yeah, it's another thing entirely to actually mess with the emotions of Pirates fans. And I don't mean silly things. These bricks have an emotional tie to people. They really do. They mean something. No. My grandparents are both passed, and we got it while one of them was still alive. So I remember her face when she saw Ernie's name, and that sort of stuff. You have to think of that stuff.
Yeah,
you have to care about your fans.
Right.
That's the bottom line. It
was way, way bigger than baseball for some people.
They've created an environment where the only people they talk to are season ticket holders. Really. At a certain level, they're really only touching the season ticket holders. And this isn't anything against season ticket holders, because they come in all shapes and sizes and different packages and everything.
Sure.
But in general, they're talking to fans that are at least happy enough with them to commit to going to X amount of games with them, right? And for the most part, those aren't going to be people that are going to really give you sincere pushback. Like they might say something a little off color to you, or they might challenge you a little bit, but for the most part, those are people that they're happy customers. You're getting 4s and 5s out of them on your, how did I do report.
You're not going to get verbally accosted in the rotunda with season ticket holders. I think Bob learned a valuable lesson on opening day, which was maybe don't take a stroll through the ballpark when everybody, hate to say it, hates you.
Ryan Lytle just made it. He had to fight through the lines trying to buy Pirates tickets. Yeah. I mean, like Jim, we were talking about on the home opener, you buy the ballpark pass every year, right? And
yep.
So you bought the ballpark pass, and then they came in with like a real last minute offer to like come to the home opener for cheap, right?
Yes, because the ballpark pass doesn't cover opening day.
Right. So, which is cool. Good for you. I'm glad you were there. It was nice seeing you and everything. It's not like I'm complaining about it. Right. But you could see like how when that starts to get out, why that might tick some people off who dropped like $160 to sit in peanut heaven.
Yeah.
When tickets were spiked a month and a half ago.
As opposed to, hey, day of the game, we have some extra ballpark passes for $20, which is why we went. We got them for that. It worked out for me. But I know it pissed some people off because, they went out and spent money to go. And fortunately, I'm just too cheap to do that. And I was just going to sit at home. But even that is like, even when they do something good, they kind of piss people off. They've kind of pissed some people off when they do it.
I'm just saying, man. Like, and the bathroom system at PNC Park was inadequate to handle it. Frankly, like they let too many standing room only people in. Stupidly, there was no place to pee. I'm a dude. I've been to PNC Park in playoff games. I don't remember waiting in line for the bathroom. I couldn't find one that didn't have a line, like all the way out to the concourse.
Yeah.
Insane.
Right.
Insane.
So I think, Gary, what it comes down to is like, we look at this team and we really do try to keep things to on the field, right? Like, we want to talk about baseball. And when we can't do it, me and you, because of all this other stuff, that it bleeds into it this much, yeah, you've got a problem, because we try to keep it all about baseball and on the field. It's what we want to talk about. It's what we like to do.
It's what we want to talk about.
We can't even do it.
It's what we want to talk about, but this stuff, like, man, it took over. And to be honest, it's a pall over everything. I'm not saying that they're playing well, and I'm also not stupid enough to think if they weren't like 9-1 instead, that I wouldn't be like focusing a little more on the baseball. Sure, but maybe that's because fans wouldn't be like focusing on this stuff. And this stuff, all you had to do was talk to us. That's all you had to do. Talk to us. And if you had talked to us, most people are reasonable. You tell me, like, listen, we got all your names. We know exactly what was written on every one of these things. You should worry about this about as much as you do as when they're remodeling the Washington Monument. You know, we will have this in a good place. Here's some sketches of ideas we have for what we're going to do with it. We haven't picked one yet, but we're at least at that point, and we will get it back up. Everybody would be like, okay, that's going to be nice. Gee, I can't wait.
Gary, can you imagine? You just made me think of something. Let's say they had 2 or 3 ideas in the works. Let people be a part of it. Let people give them feedback on what they like about the plans.
Just don't let them name anything, because you're going to get a lot worse than Bodie McBoatface.
No, let's not name stuff. But like anybody who bought one or would like to purchase something in the future, maybe they're going to add. You could involve people in it, even like have them take some ownership of it. So simple, Gary. So simple. They just refuse to do it.
It really should be. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's do Call Your Shot and try to get back into baseball a little bit. And if we happen to slip back into bitching, so be it. It's okay.
It's okay. They can wear it this time.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
All right, welcome back to the Pirates Fan Forum here on DK Pittsburgh Sports Podcast Network. Let's see, let's read Miles' comment here. Sell the Team Group could send some letters to Sheets and some of the smaller sponsors suggesting they reconsider being affiliated with the PR nightmare. Lots of sponsor deals would hit them hard. My only question really would be, why in the world would you want them to make even less money? I just don't understand that. I can understand thinking they're poor stewards of your money. I get it. But I don't want them to suffer. I don't want their cable package to get even worse than it is. I don't want them to lose money. You know?
You don't want more lagging and freezing when you're trying to watch a game online?
No, yeah, that's a terrible service, brother. It really is.
Well, you know what? You know who I feel bad for, ironically, in all this? The poor bastards at Surfside.
Yeah, they didn't do nothing wrong. They just tried to buy space.
They were like, hey, let's do this, right, guys? Let's. And the Pirates were like, absolutely. either we know what we're going to do and we're not going to tell you, or we don't know. We'll just take your money. We'll figure it out later. And they were like, wait a minute. You tore down Clemente's logo to put our can up. They would have never signed up for that. Like, they're the ones that probably got shafted in this the most.
I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for how that meeting went, because I would imagine they were probably showed them where it was going to go, and there's the Clemente logo. So I'm pretty sure they knew.
You're assuming the Pirates came that prepared with information.
I'm assuming before somebody cut a check, they saw the space. I've bought billboards before and insisted on seeing the space, brother. So just
Gary,
saying.
let's not talk about billboards.
I mean billboards like for actually selling things, not trying to get people to sell things.
Oh, you don't want the Steelers? You don't want Rooney to sell the team?
No, I'd rather not.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
All right, let's do Call Your Shot.
Gary, Jim, what's happening, boys? Another week for Call Your Shot. This week, our winner is PNC Yark. What's going on, my guy? He has to say, with IKF to Frazier being one of the slowest combos to ever turn a double play, will we start to see Chang start the middle infield and get some meaningful playing time? Let's hear what you got, guys. Go Bucks.
All right.
Why can't I look that cool on any of our YouTube videos?
I mean, you don't live in Florida and tan all the time, and
I have chest hair. Joey Bart has it.
Joey Bart.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would love to see Chang play more shortstop and IKF move to second. I think it would make a lot of sense. It would get Frazier out of the lineup a little bit more often. It keeps IKF's bat in the lineup, which I think we both agree has been okay this year. And it makes him play a position that he's more comfortable at, I believe. I think he would be a much better fit there for right now. And you could, kick the tires on Chang. Let's see what he does. I mean, it doesn't have to be every day, but, give him 3-4 games a week. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and give him some regular bats. He's up here. See if he can handle it. And he doesn't have to do anything spectacular at the plate. He just can't hit 120 and provide absolutely zero. Gary, this brings up the IKF thing, which I'm glad we're getting to, because I don't think we can gloss over this. He cannot play shortstop every day in the major leagues.
Bro, he looks like he's throwing like a cricket pitch. Like, I've never seen anybody with that kind of technique throwing from shortstop. It's ridiculous looking. It doesn't work.
Technique, arm strength, it's just not there. He just does not have the arm to play shortstop.
Routine ground balls to short have got to be an out 99% of the time. And I understand O'Neal Cruz was not 99% of the time either. But he made up for it by making some plays IKF couldn't even pray to make.
he couldn't dream of in his sexiest baseball dream.
He evened the numbers a little bit with that as far as putouts that he actually successfully got. I think there's more balls that get through the infield. I think he is terrible at turning double plays. The feed is awful to whoever he's sending it to. Everything has to be that deliberate overhand jump throw that it looks like. I don't know what it looks like, a shot put or cricket. I'm trying to place what it is, but it's weird. Like, I've never seen a middle infielder throw like that.
You said, like, it's shortstop. The biggest thing is, man, you just have to make all the routine plays, right? You have to make the routine stuff. You're going to get a lot of it.
Oh, this is such a great way to say it. Rob, Pirates took a 3-WAR player in IKF and made him a 0-WAR player by putting him at shortstop every day. Abso-frickin-lutely.
Yeah, that's true.
Beautifully put.
And look, IKF is going to cost them multiple games at shortstop. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And I cannot believe with 150 games left to go that they are going to trot him out there on the majority of those days. If they do, I refuse to believe that they're going to keep doing this with him.
All I can say is, like, it can't just be the money, because we've just offered a really, really workable solution. Second base would do better. He's got an arm that you can get by at second base. Sure. And I've seen him make the feed to shortstop to start double plays, and it's much better than what he does when he plays shortstop. You could play him and keep his bat and not feel like you're wasting your money and put him at second base. And honestly, play Cheng there. I don't care if you even get to Peguero. When Gonzalez comes back, put Gonzalez there.
That's exactly where I was going, is let Gonzalez chip in a little bit there.
Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, you know, we've been doing this a long time, Jim. It takes us a long time to straight up call out a player cannot do this. Right? Like, look, we still have some patience for Jack Sawinski.
Right.
IKF's hit. I've given him credit. You can't play shortstop, not in this league. Right. You can't. If you come in on a ball, charge it, and throw to first base, and that's an out, 95% of the time, you are not a shortstop in this league. I'd have Connor Griffin right now and be happier.
Sure. Yeah. Again, he would make up for some of the routine stuff that he would mess up, just like Cruz does, the give and take away stuff. You're right. We never, can't say never. We rarely say this player cannot do this. This is one of those situations.
Well, another guy we've said cannot do this, and another player we have to discuss, Kutch. I mean, this whole Reynolds thing has put him in an awkward position, right? Kutch is hitting. He's one of the better hitters right now. Say whatever that means to you.
On this team?
Yeah. But he's hitting. Okay?
Yeah.
So you want to get his bat in the lineup. Reynolds can only be a DH for, who knows, another week maybe. It's caused them to have to use Kutch in the outfield. And because he's made a couple nice plays and he is running and he doesn't look like an invalid, I think a lot of people are believing that he can do this a lot.
That there's more in there to do it, yeah.
And I think it's really more about, like, short burst speed. He can still do it on the bases, right? When he's running to first, he can still motor if he looks like he's got a chance to leg one out, right? Mm-hmm. He can still get first to third like a giraffe, like he used to, right? That one quick burst, he can do that. He can still chase down a ball or two, right? He can still uncork a throw or two, you know, with everything he's got. I think that the more you ask, the less you're going to get. But at the same time, Jim, I don't want them to forget that he can do it, because there's ways they can set this lineup up to utilize him and keep Bart and Endy in. And I want them to be more flexible with it, especially if they're going to entertain Kutch coming back another season. You got to be open to letting him play out there a little bit.
Right. I think what you're saying is just be judicious about it and don't go clear to the effect of, well, he can play 50 games out there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just, like, sprinkle it in. Sprinkle it in
throughout the course of the entire season.
Right.
That's pushing it for me right there.
Yeah, you trust me, nobody wants to see Kutch in August after he's already played 50 games in right field, what that's going to look like. It both in the field and at the plate. Like, they have to you know, monitor his usage. But absolutely, Gary, and it comes back to, we have so many guys that can't hit in the lineup, or you're starving for runs and production. You better get a little creative sometimes about getting as many bats as you can in the lineup, whatever they are. And if that means playing Kutch in right field once every, 10, 12, 15 games just to get extra bats in the lineup, do it.
That's all I'm saying.
They can't afford not to.
That's all I'm saying. Take advantage of it. And then there's some other stubborn things I think we're seeing. Like we just kind of discussed, like how they could pretty easily do something better with IKF and limit how much they're using Frazier. Kill two birds with one stone, really, right? I mean, like that's all we're asking for here. I think you could do the same kind of thing in the outfield. Like you don't have to just use, Canario or Pham. You can use Kutch instead. And O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds once he's healthy, and use Bart as the DH, or give somebody else an opportunity to get some at bats. Like maybe you've got like a Nick Gonzalez sitting around, or you want to rest Key, but you don't want to take him out. Go ahead. You can do that. You can DH today. We'll play Gonzalez over at third, whatever. Do things that are creative like that to use the DH spot and open Kutch up to playing a little field. I think he's shown he can handle it in bursts at least. And he looks like he feels like a more complete player, which makes him a better player.
Yeah, and I think as long as you would keep him to right field at this point, you certainly don't want him, patrolling center, and even left is probably a thing that might be a little bit more than you'd want him to do. But you could certainly get him in there. I think especially we don't know at this point with Canario and Jack, if those two don't start hitting, what exactly would be the plan B there? In general.
I mean, I don't have one. I'm sorry. It's the problem that we have been pointing out for quite some time. Gorski, there's your flyer. Gorski, or who's that other kid that was hitting in spring training, played for the Rangers that we sent down? I can't remember his name. Starts with an S.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. He was pretty good.
Solak?
Yeah, Solak. Who know, a guy like that maybe comes up and plays a little outfield for you. I mean, that's where you're at.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they've got two guys that they're trying to give at bats to, and if they don't work out, they're in a really tough spot outfield wise. They really are.
And I guess you could go back to the well with Bay too. I'm just saying.
I wonder if that was it for him.
He's still on the 40, man. If it was it for him, he'd be gone.
That's true.
I'm just saying they just got a new outfielder.
Billy Cook. Dave White mentions Billy Cook.
And Nick York, I guess, could try the outfield. He has done it a little bit.
Right.
So those are your options though, and they're kids. And Andy has played outfield in the past. And eventually maybe you're gonna have to find a place for Henry to play. And we haven't even discussed what if there's injuries. I mean, we already lost Brian Reynolds in the outfield for a while. You got Horwitz coming back. All he can really do is first base.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, I don't think. I know. Was it second he played a little bit?
Yeah, but I don't think we want to see that. And then that said, this team has lowered the standards. So
maybe Gary, get him at shortstop, baby. What do we got to lose?
Yeah. Let's do Spencer Horwitz at shortstop. That's the solution right there. We'll turn that we'll turn that slow running mofo into an outfielder before we know it.
Oh my God, he'll be in center field.
Why would you not want to turn him into an outfielder? I mean, you brought in an answer at first base. It only makes Pirates sense that you would move him off first base, right?
Well, yeah, you got to have positional flexibility. You have to.
Absolutely.
You cannot do it. Before we go, is there anything else we need to get to? Because I was just going to try to end it on a positive note with talking about a few players.
Yeah, let's talk positive for a little while. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's talk about guys like Ke'Bryan Hayes Joey Bart, even in the performance he had the other day, which I thought was just a badass 13-inning catcher performance, getting ran over by Endy, hit by a pitch.
Dude, that was an NFL hit too.
Oh, he got trucked.
Yeah.
But like, what a day for Joey Bart. Game-winning hit. Like I said, 13 innings of catching. Thank God he had today off. But like, I like that dude. I do. I think he's somebody that shows up and he's going to give you everything he's got. It's nice seeing Brian Hayes. Looks like he's hitting the ball hard and looks like he's healthy. Those are two bright spots. Thought I'd bring it up. You got anybody that at least you're,
those two
positive on?
Those two in particular. And good signs from Brian Reynolds. I know he's still batting under 200, but when he starts hitting right-handed, which he has, everything always comes together for him right after that. And he's starting to feel healthy now, and you can kind of see that he's swinging the bat a little bit better. I expect him to have kind of gotten on the horse now. So there's that. Bruce Nesbitt says Hannah Mears is a bright spot, which I guess I can understand. Actually, I really mean this truthfully. Hannah Mears is, I think, done a wonderful job interviewing the guys. I think she gets more out of them, and it's deeper information than I think we've gotten in the past. She knows things about them from watching them, and she knows how to needle in there and get them to open up about something. She's really good at it, and I didn't really recognize what we were missing until I kind of saw it. I think she's been fabulous. I really mean it.
You know what? Yeah, she is, Gary. She's genuinely nice. And I think that comes through.
So was Robbie. I just didn't. I didn't.
Robbie got
questions. That's all.
Robbie got weird on you, though. That was he weirded you out every once in a while. So
but he was a nice guy according to everybody, and
I agree. I don't want to pile on Robbie here. But,
I just think that she does a good job of kind of digging in and getting some information that we wouldn't normally get. That's all. I think she's pretty good. So
yeah. Keller bounced back, had a really, really nice start. One of the sharpest starts I've seen him have. How about Heaney against the Yankees? Man, the Yankees are having trouble with lefties. They hit everything else, but so a couple bright spots there. It was weird to see Paul Skeens be human, but it's a reminder that even a Terminator like Paul Skeens, he's not going to finish his career with a 1.96 ERA. It's just not going to happen. So,
well, I won't say never until he does, but because that game could have pissed him off, and who knows what he'll do next time out. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
I'm not going to question the guy.
No, it was funny that was the only game they did not win of the St. Louis series. I don't know that many people would have bought that, but
even that though, he rebounded pretty well and still put in 6 innings. Like, that was a pretty professional start. Like, that's one of those ones that, like, middle of August you get out of Bailey Falter, you're like, Bailey Falter really could have fallen apart there, but he kept it together. But it's Paul Skeens, so we're like, that was the worst day of our lives.
It's like Paul makes you, like us, feel invincible when he's on the mound.
Yes.
And like we realize our own humanness when Paul struggles.
It's like seeing Superman with
our own
kryptonite. You're like, oh my God, what a weakling all of a sudden.
Yeah, like I'm just a mere mortal, unfortunately.
Did you really think those glasses were a disguise? So let me talk about a couple players I had in mind. One of them, Caleb Ferguson. And I was probably more excited than most when he got signed. I know I came on this show and actually was kind of like excited about it, and we got made fun of a little bit, but I liked Caleb Ferguson. I thought that was a good signing, and boy, he really looked great every game. 7 games, no runs, 7 innings. He's just completely been putting everybody down. And Andrew Heaney. Andrew Heaney, I've never seen Andrew Heaney do what he just did in his last start ever before. 10 strikeouts.
No,
Like,
it was crazy.
He was crazy. So Andrew Heaney really, I think, has come a long way. He looks better than he did last year when he kind of got moved back to the pen. So he looks like he's ready to kind of hold this role for a while. And Bailey Falter picked up right where he left off, man. As advertised, questioned last year, questioned this year, always the first one to get pushed out for all the kids that are coming, always the first one to get squeezed out for eventual free agents.
Yeah,
And
looks like he
always the
found
guy
his,
who's just standing there.
Yeah, he looks like he found his niche, I think, is kind of how I view him. Nothing. It's never going to be, he's never going to be dominant, but he can go out there and give you 5-6 innings and not embarrass himself. And that's all you're asking out of guys like this. You mentioned Caleb Ferguson. Even the other small little pickups they made in the bullpen, those haven't been bad. You know what I mean? Between Lawrence and Miza, Baraki ran into it the other day. Like all these these are actually pieces that have looked pretty good. It's just that back end. They got Kyle Nicholas back up. Did that surprise you, Gary? He didn't look good.
For Harrington, who Doug says is here to stay. Harrington got sent down today, and Kyle Nicholas is going to be brought back up. I'm very surprised because honestly, Jim, he's looked like shit in the minors.
Yeah,
and
I thought he
looked bad most of the spring.
4 2/3 innings down there. If you didn't think he was ready to make the roster, I don't know that 4 2/3 innings in the minors and didn't look good gets you back up. But
the only thing I can really say is
apparently it does.
The only thing I can really say is they send you down there like, do this.
Yeah.
And whatever this is, you have to assume he did it because they had other options. They could have brought Hunter Stratton up. They got Rainey down there still. There's other ways they could have gone if they didn't think he's ready. The last guy I want to touch on, and I know we're running a little long here. I mean, the thing is, Nicholas is a good pitcher, and he put up good numbers last year. My questions with him are, what do you do with him? He walks too many guys to use as a closer, at least now. He's too wild to put in when you've got guys on base. You can't put him in when you absolutely have to have that strikeout because you could just as easily have 3 walks.
Yeah.
I want to use him. I just want to feel better about him.
Right.
So maybe whatever they had him working on, maybe they know better than us. Anyways,
maybe. The reality is he just has to stop walking people. And I don't know that.
Right. And he's never going to. He's never going to stop walking people, but he needs to at least get closer to the plate and entice them to swing. That's all.
Keep it within reason. Yeah. So what else were you going to say?
Last guy I want to talk about is David Bednar. So 2 outings in the minors. They went okay. All right. Now, the reason I say they went okay is because if you just look at the box score, they went okay. You actually watched him. It's still bad. Okay. This team, I don't trust them at all. I feel like as soon as he's put together 3, 4, 5 outings, they're going to call him right back up here like nothing happened. And I'm telling you, I went out of my way to make sure that I watched every inning that he's pitched so far. The curveball is coming in top third of the zone, and he's getting swings and misses on it. The fastball, he's missing 8 inches high, and they're swinging and missing at it or popping it up. The splitter is coming in and bouncing, and they're swinging over top of it. That shit ain't going to happen in the bigs. And this team, I fear, is too stupid to see it. I don't even know if they know what the hell they're trying to fix with them because all they ever talk about is getting his confidence back. His confidence isn't going to help him get a 97-mile-an-hour fastball past Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, and then what kind of role would he be in when he comes back?
Gee, where do you think?
Yeah. But hey, Gary, someone's got to pitch the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings.
I'll stick with what they're doing right now. I would mix and match just like they are right now. Baraki and Santana and Caleb Ferguson, work it out, and Lawrence, work those four through it. Who cares? I mean, like, I just want Bednar to be right when they call him back up, because to me, this isn't one of those ones where you can call him up and then like go, whoops, we screwed up, and then send him back down. This isn't Hunter Stratton.
Yeah. Yep.
Be right if you call him up.
Hey, Holderman's not too far behind in this discussion.
Well, Holderman's actually hurt though.
No, but I'm saying but even when he wasn't, he did not look the same. So, and it's not supposed to be long term, from what I understand. So I'm just curious on how
they have more time, because he's actually not allowed to throw right now. So
sure.
But eventually, I'm worried they're going to just any moment be like, yeah, come on back up.
Well, the way they handled it the first time was just ignore it and hope that it's not a problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just want to make sure that they take the appropriate thought. I want them to treat calling him back up with the same gravity they treated sending him down was. Think about it, because you don't want to have to do it again. So be right. Be sure. Understand that he's actually fixed what you sent him down there to fix. I believe with this pitching staff, Jim, they ought to know. They got Strom and Marin. Between the two of them, they know what's getting hit. They know why it's getting hit. They know what they want him to fix, and I expect that they're having him do it. So he comes back up here, does the same thing, and gets roped again. That's on them.
Supposed to be two very knowledgeable guys that got all that data. You'd think that they could figure out something with them. So I don't know. Maybe, Gary, before this is over, they'll find David Bednar laying on a pile of bricks in Reserve Township. And, he's getting put out the pasture. That's how we'll find out. I don't know. Maybe
they'll trade him for his brother. Yeah, we'll get Will Bednar. They'll be like, we're replacing them renegade juniors in town. It'll be great.
I'd be like, I think I saw David Bednar out in the middle of Pennsylvania playing for an independent league team, and we'll find out the Pirates sold him for $20 and never told anybody.
I saw, like, after he blew another save this year, the Washington Wild Things came out and said, well, you can come pitch for us.
Well,
yeah.
In all seriousness, I hope he figures it out. But I'm glad he wasn't there for opening day. I would have hated to add that to the clown show that was opening day's festivities. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, brother. Anyways, hey, this was good therapy. A lot of fun.
Yeah, dude.
Let's pass it
off.
Hope
everyone enjoyed it.
Let's pass. Well, I hope they enjoyed it too, but because we didn't get to like the actual news until the very last 5 minutes, so I should probably feel bad for that. But anyway,
we had a lot to discuss.
It's good stuff. Good getting back with you, brother.
Yeah, man.
All right. Hey, everybody, before we go and I send it off to Ben, just real quick, muck the feds.